Hi. As soon as I finished the last video, and I just sent that video out to a really small group, actually two groups of friends, two separate moms within one of the groups got back to me almost immediately to say, can you please make one that is specifically for teenagers? So I thought, no problem. I will do that because I have teenagers myself. And if you don't know what I'm referring to protecting children and grown-ups from becoming victims of manipulative individuals, because this is on the rise. It used to be that narcissism was something that we just read about as a complex, and then we started seeing that more and more people are actually victims of this, more and more grown-ups that look like they're having the perfect lives from the outside, except we now realize that they're not. And I've experienced it. I have mentored people who have experienced it. I've done a lot of work with researching this, speaking to psychotherapists who have tried to help people that have been diagnosed with narcissism. So I do know a little bit more than I would have actually liked to know about it. But it's so important to speak to teenagers because now there is a deliberate effort by certain individuals online to teach others, to teach boys how to control girls using narcissistic techniques. How to get a girl to become very much attached to you and then to deliberately break them, which would then make them basically emotionally controlled by you. And if you can control a person's emotion and a person's mind, then you can basically puppet them to do whatever you want. People are using this to commit crimes, but it's crimes that cannot be prosecuted. You see, in fact, the Netflix programs about real life cases where a gentleman got lots and lots of girls to take out huge credit cards and withdraw lots of money and give to him. And that was funding his lifestyle. He had private jets, and these were normal girls. These were sensible girls. They just fell for this. So when these two moms said, "Can you please do something I can show my daughter?" and one said, "Do one specifically to explain this to teenagers," I thought absolutely, because having seen how I fell for it, and I'm considered normal and rational by many people, I realized, gosh, what chance do a lot of girls have? Um, because these techniques are proven to work. The technique of bombarding a girl with lots of affection, and then testing them with a trauma. A trauma is like when someone's bombarding someone with lots of affection, and then that girl is feeling so special, really, really special. And then, they feel like they're in this unit with this person who seems perfect. And then suddenly the person does something shocking, like, snaps at them, calls them a name, or does something traumatizing, like says to them, "Oh, I kissed another girl." They're doing that to test the reaction. And if the girl still sticks around because she's trying to adapt to what she's just learned, they realize they've got a captive victim. And then that's how it begins. There are many books now written about this, not very well known unless you actually know to look out for it. The Father Daughter Talk by R.C. Blakes is a fantastic one. Um, on a more generic level, Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man is one written by Steve Harvey. And these two books are addressing, what these narcissistic players are looking for. I strongly recommend both of these books. I've got them, I've read them, I've given them to my daughter to read. It's really, really important. Now, for teenagers, um, I just want to break it down, because I know it's a lot of information to take in all at the same time. The most important thing that can protect you is actually your gut feel, your instinct. And unfortunately, we don't teach enough about instinct. You know, if anything, a lot of what we teach, or a lot of what we've been taught as children, as teenagers, is to be nice. And that's a very, very dangerous thing. And I'm not saying that to scaremonger. I was also taught to be nice. And initially, I was teaching my daughter, be nice, be nice, be nice. But the reason why it's dangerous is because the first thing that a guy would do is look for as a person who wants to do these things. And this actually also falls for bullies. This works as well. This is what bullies use. You know, those kind of bullies that are, they pretend to like you, but then they start being mean to you, and yet they won't leave you alone. Those are the types I mean. I don't mean the types that push you into the school cupboard and lock you there. No, I mean the mean girls. The mean girls who want to get you under their control, who want to absorb your popularity, who go looking for nice, popular girls to sort of latch onto, right? And are being cruel to them at the same time. These are all the same techniques. Now, when you've been told to be nice, be nice, be nice, the first thing somebody looking to manipulate you would do the minute you push back and say, "Hey, I don't like the way you spoke to me," or "Actually, you know what? I don't know that I want to hang out with you." They'll be like, "That's not very nice." And when they say that, they're tapping into the fact that that is going to make you feel guilty because as a child, you've been told nonstop, be nice, right? See what I mean? It's very clever. But as parents, we shouldn't be placing the emphasis on being nice. We should be placing the emphasis on being wise. And wisdom is innate. It comes from gut feel. It comes from when people are wise, they do things that they can't always explain. It's self-preservative. And I should stop and say this, that being wise doesn't mean that you're not going to be nice. No, if you're wise, you're naturally nice, but you have boundaries. Wisdom is niceness with boundaries. Wisdom is niceness with a confidence that you have the right to make a decision in a moment. Wisdom is what will allow you to see what everyone else is doing, see what the crowd is doing, hear the pressure that is being placed on you, and still go, no, for my gut feel, I'm going to do this. That is wisdom. That is what wisdom is. Wisdom is listening to your innate instinct, and we don't teach this enough. Unfortunately, we don't. If anything, actually, as parents, sometimes we say to people, "Oh, go over there and go and do such and such," and the kid is not it's probably not able to articulate well enough why they don't want to. They can't say, "Well, my gut feel doesn't want this," and therefore they're pushed by their parents to go and be nice. And actually, what we need to be doing is saying to someone, "Don't do it if you don't want to. Do the barest minimum to be civil." That is important. And now I don't force my kids to do what they don't want to do in terms of interacting with people socially. I ask, why don't you want to? What is your gut feel saying to you? We need to start telling children that they should listen to their gut feel. And because we've spent so long telling them to be nice, developing a strong gut feel, developing a strong instinct or a strong sixth sense, if you like. For Christians, it says the Holy Spirit. Well, if for Christians, it's the Holy Spirit. Developing a strong sixth sense, a strong gut feel is like a muscle. It won't just happen overnight. And what you can do as a teenager, what you should do in order to develop this is, I've narrowed it down. It's keeping track of what you're thinking, what you're feeling. If you journal, start a diary. If you journal every single day and you write down the good things that happen, the bad things that happen, and the things that you're not too sure of, right? So every single day, just before you go to bed, write down good things that happen, bad things that happen, things I'm not so sure of, however silly it is, a comment that someone made, be it a friend, be it someone that's expressed interest in you, be it, be it family. Just write down these three categories: good, bad, not sure of, and how I felt. And you have to be, this last bit is the most crucial bit. You have to be very, very honest. You can write I wasn't too sure. I can't put a finger on it. You can write, I'm just not feeling it. You can write, I don't know why I don't like it, but whatever. You can write, it's strange. I believe them. I don't know why. Or you can write, everything sounds like it's true, but I don't know why I don't believe them. This is really crucial. Okay. It's really, really crucial. Even as adults, it's really crucial. Because if you do this every day, right, this diary will form your memory bank because believe it or not, your memory is not perfect. Okay. It will form your memory bank that will allow you to go back and look at on so and so date, this happened. And when you start to, when someone is being uber nice and uber special and uber everything, and then they do something random, this, when you write all these things down, it will allow you go back and cross check and map out a pattern. And it will also allow you map out a pattern of your feelings. And the more you write down your feelings, your emotions, however irrational they are, the more you write that down, the more you validate those thoughts, those gut feels, those instincts, right? And then you will begin to pinpoint them more accurately. This is really, really, really important. Animals survive with this. Dogs like some people and don't like some people. That is their survival instinct. Babies like some people and don't like some people. That is their survival instinct. It's only as children and teenagers and then subsequently adults that we're taught deliberately to override these instincts. Go back and pull these out. Write them down, track them, right? From time to time, sit and read through. And this will help you when someone who has managed to deceive you so far and then starts showing their true colors. The more you write it down, when that person begins to try to make you feel like you're exaggerating, oh, what do you mean? Why are you reacting like this just because, I called you a silly name? I was just playing, right? When you go back and read through your journal, you will see other times that that person has done other things, and you will be able to build up a picture, a more realistic picture in your mind. This is important. Keep a journal, but let it be a journal of things that, how you felt during certain occasions, whether or not it makes sense to anybody else. Your gut feel, your animal instinct is only supposed to make sense to you. Please do this. And even if everything is all hunky dory or whatever, it's just a good habit to have. It helps your mental health anyway. Journaling is so crucial. Okay, so that's one thing. For those people who they are, for those people who are experiencing bullying of any kind, is interesting. Bullying or manipulation is interesting. Actually, I got this from my garden. The holly tree is fantastic. This what a holly tree. We all know the typical leaves of a holly, that they're spiky, but do you know that not all its leaves are spiky? A holly tree will grow spiky leaves around where it perceives predators. The rest of its leaves will be smooth, right? So this is the same holly tree. This is the bit I cut off. This, I'm trying to do this mirror image. This is smooth. Now it's obviously perceived a threat at this point, and then now it's started to grow these spiky. I think there's a lot of wisdom we can learn from the holly tree. And it's important that I chose the holly tree, not every other tree, because what some people do is they become bitter, they become edgy to everyone. And that's not necessary. Wisdom means that you will discern, you will figure out who is safe and who is not safe. You don't need to be mean and push everybody away because that will make you lonely. Some people don't deserve to see spikes. Some people don't deserve unnecessary boundaries. Okay? So your point of wisdom as a person is to hang back a little bit, keep your notes and your journals as a person, Figure out who is safe, who you always consistently feel safe around. 1 month, 2 months. Be nice to everybody in the meantime. And when I say nice, I mean with a boundary. Interact with everybody in the meantime. Smile to everybody in the meantime. And then over time, you will figure out who you need to keep more boundaries up and who you can relax and be yourself with. Because unfortunately, not everybody is what they make out to be. So, with those people who prove that they cannot be trusted with all of you, you put up a little bit more of a wall. That's the spikes of the holly. You know when to say no, that's enough, I'm walking away. And with those who you feel safe around, you can relax, talk a bit more to. You can tell them the things that are bothering you. You can tell them how you can show them a bit more of your heart. But if you go all in from the beginning and you tell everybody everything, one of the things that manipulators will do is they will use everything you tell them to morph into what they perceive you need, and that gives them instant access into your life. Okay. And the other thing I've got to say this is so, so important. I know it's not popular. I know social media says everybody's doing it. But quite frankly, as a young teenager, you have no business in getting involved in any sex, any kind of sexual act. Anybody that is putting you under pressure to look at, be it sexy images or, making innuendos at you or whatever, you don't need that. That is a key tool that manipulative individuals use to lower your guard, because if they start to make sexual advances and whatever, you're there laughing, hey, this is funny. They understand that you don't have high enough standards. They understand that they can push whatever standards you have down, and they begin to narrow you down. Now, listen, as a teenager, sorry, let me finish the first one. They begin to narrow you down into just a sexual being. And yes, whilst you might like that attention, or you might think you like that attention, is actually doing you a lot of damage. Because as a human being, even though, sex sells and every advert seems to be a sexy image, as a human being, we, especially females, are not just a sexual object. And yes, I'm targeting this to teenagers because your body is growing and you are beginning to look like an adult, but your development is not yet all done. And what you do now can be extremely damaging to how well you develop. Okay. Um, I cringe so much when I hear that a teenage girl wants to ambition is to become a wag. How could you do that to yourself? How can that be your entire aspiration? How can you make your own self a side player in your life? You're making yourself an extra in your own life. You're the main character. As a human being, a person, and a woman especially, is just this magical box of all sorts. We're able to multitask. You're so intelligent. You're so capable of nurturing. You have such an instinct for caring for people. You're extremely intelligent, extremely resourceful, extremely creative. You're such a good negotiator. We're created that way. We have these things. That is why a woman can raise 4 or 5 children, and each of those children feels loved. They're able to distribute whatever gifts or treats to all of those children. Those are negotiating skills that woman has. I believe that every woman is capable of working for the UN. Believe me, especially if they have more than one child, because they have all those skills naturally within them. Those are huge money making skills. Right? So you can make your money. Don't aspire to be a wag. You can make that glamorous lifestyle for yourself. Don't aspire to do those things. I was earning way more than I ever imagined that I would within a very short space of time. So that is a very limiting aspiration. Yes, all these talents that I've just talked about happen to be encased in a very beautiful looking body as a female. But don't let social media narrow you down to just a body. That is why you've got to be so careful what you start getting involved in as a teenager, because that, if you get involved in too much of the wrong stuff, then your mind is now, your development for other things pauses, and your mind is now narrowed and hardwired into thinking this body is all you are. And you stop believing that you can do everything else that you're actually designed to do. So please, one, keep a journal. Two, resist very firmly anybody that tries to get you involved in anything sexual, anything that, and your gut feel, as you develop your gut feel will tell you, actually, this feels icky, right? You know, if you eat, and it's little comments. If a guy goes, if you walk past and a guy goes, licks his lips and goes like, damn, that's a fine looking thing, you go like, excuse you? That will put a stop to that behavior. And it will also teach that guy she is to be respected, irrespective of how old or young you are. Okay? Don't allow anybody objectify you. Now, when you start to make friends or interact with males, some of the things you should look out for, I'll just run through them very quickly. Characteristics of people that are narcissistic, manipulative, etc. One, these ones, you don't have to be too intimately involved in them to get to know, and that should tell you to pause and stay away. One, they tend to always have slightly addictive personalities. They would be using drinks or drugs, or be very, 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 very good around women, or females. And the substance abuse, the alcohol, or dabbling in drink or drugs or whatever, is because they need that to escape the darkness within their hearts. Two, they will push your boundaries. If you say, oh, I only want to, stay out for 30 minutes, they'll try and get you to stay out for 35. Again, all of these are tests. They never really listen to what you want. Three, they don't have good friends. In fact, likely their friends or the people around them don't really like them. They tend to have one single stooge friend. And I use the word stooge because this is a friend who they don't even speak nicely about that person, but this person is hanging around them, and that person is actually under their control. So they would typically have that. Okay. I wrote a few more down. I just want to be sure. They are very envious people. They will be envious of, they tend to talk down about other people's achievements. They tend to compare themselves with other people quite a lot. If you give them good news about you or someone else, they tend to try and minimize it. Like if you say, oh, I won this award, they will go, how many people won the award? Oh, it was quite a lot of people, things like that. So they do that. There is it's a very long list, and I could go into all of it, but this section was targeted for teenagers, and I don't want to overwhelm you. I will be talking more about it as time goes on, but it is a lot to take in. If you only take one thing away from this, or two things, it is start keeping a journal about your gut feel that you cannot explain, about every things that happen during the day. Do that religiously every single day. It will help you. And two, resist, as a teenager, resist people that try and get you involved in sex. You don't need that. You really, really don't need that. As a kid, you have no business doing that. This is so crucial. Now, for parents, if you are a parent watching this, you have a key role to play. I will try and not talk too long about them, but I will explain the things that you can do that would really help your children. It would really, really help your children. One, make it clear how much you love your children. Tell them over and over again. A child cannot hear it enough. A child cannot hear you enough say, I love you so much. And each individual children, don't tell them as a collective. Don't have them all in a car and go, I love you kids. No, call them by name, text them, call them by name. And this is important because really, for a very long time, all a child has is actually their parents. They have nowhere else to turn, really. Yeah, they have their phones, but the phone is not real. You know that, right? Us as adults, we have, we've gone to, hopefully, to self-actualize, to believe in ourselves, to grow our faith, to grow all of that. But for children, they don't have that. So a child really, really needs you, no matter how much they're acting up. So tell them you love them. Text them you love them. Don't assume they know. Don't say, oh, I do all of this, therefore they know. No, they don't. And even if they did, tell them again anyway. And even when they're acting up, if you're telling a child off, please don't ever say you're stupid, you numpty. Don't normalize insults, because this says to a child that it's okay for other people to speak to me that way. Do not normalize insults. You can say that was a stupid thing you did. You're smarter than that. Or seek to validate your children. Please. It's so, so important. And if you're telling your child off, you can be mad. Of course, you're a human being. Say, I'm really mad at you, but I love you. Right? Always finish with that. Don't ever let a child feel like your love for them is conditional on their behavior, because there are people, you better believe that there are people out there who are waiting to fall on a prey. And when your child is feeling vulnerable, they are a prey. So you are there to correct them, guide them, yes, but let your love for them never be in doubt. So say it, say it, say it. If you're an absent parent, listen, text your kid. Text your kid, post them a letter, send them little things, little magnets or whatever that they can hold on to as a visible, physical reminder that they matter to their parents. Okay. Post your daughter a teddy, especially for girls. Tell your kids that they're beautiful. I don't know why parents don't do this. Tell your kids they're beautiful, because they are. Okay. Tell them they're beautiful. Tell them they're pretty. They should hear these things from you as a parent. If one parent is not present, that they are the present parent, tell them all the time. Right? The first time your daughter hears that she's pretty should not be from a boy who's trying to get into her knickers, because she's not going to be able to tell that that is what he wants. All she's going to hear is, he said I'm pretty. And social media says to me that being pretty is valuable. Therefore, I want to keep feeling the way I feel when he says this. Therefore, I'm going to do whatever he wants me to do. That is how it works. Tell your daughters they're beautiful. When my daughter's friends are around, I tell them they're beautiful, because I want them to know. I want their internal reaction when a boy says you're pretty to be their internal. I don't want them to be assholes. I want their internal reaction to be, yes, I know. I know I'm pretty. Okay, so that should be their reaction internally when a boy says you're pretty. It should be like, thank you. They should say verbally, thank you, but internally, I know I'm pretty. I hear it all the time from my parents or from my guardian. We have a duty to normalize children knowing that they are beautiful and special and unique. Don't make your love expensive. Don't make your love expensive. Some parents only smile at their kids when the kid has done something wonderful. This whole business of tiger mom or whatever, it's not a good idea. It really isn't. You're creating someone who is so starved of love that they will go looking in all the wrong places. Okay. Yes, of course, you should have expectations of your children, but you should make it clear that your love for them is not reliant on them meeting those expectations. No. Okay. No matter what, your child should feel you are the safe space, not that they let you down and therefore they're less valuable. All right. That is probably all I'm going to say for this video. This is actually a bit longer. I don't even know how long. Oh gosh, this has been going on for half an hour. I'm so sorry. And I have a wedding to get to, but I really wanted to come in here and tell you that as a person, you're so valuable and so necessary here on earth. That is why you're here. You are really, really valuable. There are people who have needs, real needs, that only you have the gift and special skill and combination to fulfill. Don't let anyone make you feel small. Don't let anyone make you feel like if you don't do what they want, therefore you're less lovable. You are valuable. Very, very valuable. All right. Until next time, I shall see you next week. Bye-bye.